completed my first practicum at Panania Public School with an early stage 1 kindergarten class. Panania Public School is located in southwestern Sydney. The school has a population of 460 students with an even ratio of girls to boys. The school has an EALD population of 35% and this number is increasing yearly. The school has a 3% Indigenous population. In regards to SES, the school has a middling ratio when contrasted with the Australian average. The learning focus of the school uses the MEE framework and places the student at the centre of the learning experience with the aim of ensuring that every student is known, valued and cared for whilst they are encouraged and challenged in their learning. The school has a stated goal of improving literacy and numeracy in order to develop motivated and independent learners. The school recognises the importance quality teaching can have on student progress and achievement and therefore places a high priority on ensuring targeted and high-impact professional development for the staff. My supervising teacher had begun the process of transitioning from a focus on behaviour management towards a student-centred approach to teaching that is promoted by the school. The students were a lively and spirited group who actively participated in learning tasks and class discussions and could be seen to be engaged and developing positive feelings towards school and education. High effective feelings from the students developed both small e and big E engagement. Engaging positive message systems were incorporated into the pedagogy of my supervising teacher, which gave students a sense of ownership over their learning. The students had designated seating in groups of 4, and there was a large space at the front of the classroom where they could sit on the carpet for class discussions. The class had an interactive whiteboard and shared use of iPads with the other kindergarten classes. The class was energetic in their approach to learning and were enthusiastic about their first year of school. Chosen 21st century pedagogy for my action research is dialogic teaching, an approach inspired by Barton's concept of dialogism and Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory of learning. Sociocultural theory posits the learner as an active meaning maker, challenging the traditional transitional models of teaching. Dialogic pedagogy is an approach that attempts to enable the construction of knowledge through questioning and the negotiating of ideas that are constructed in a mutually respectful manner. An important skill teachers need to develop is a strong ability to facilitate dialogue in the normal and chaotic flow of classroom discussion. A dialogic teaching approach demands active engagement by the students and constructive teacher intervention. Dialogic teaching will hold a high level of value for my class as it improves engagement and participation whilst encouraging active learning and develops in students the ability to think for themselves. Talk that is well structured and cognitively demanding has a positive effect on engagement for the students. Dialogic teaching offers students an active role in shaping subject knowledge and the learning process. Working together collaboratively enables students to contribute towards an interaction as well as learning from each other, enabling the co-construction of knowledge. Dialogic pedagogy engages the students by stimulating their thinking, advancing understanding, building ideas, and powers them for lifelong learning. Students learning the specialist language of a subject area provides students the language to articulate new ideas. Through the use of MEE concepts to structure dialogue about learning and teaching, both teachers and students have increased opportunities to develop shared understanding of what learning should look like. Dialogic pedagogy will enhance my teaching by allowing me to diagnose the needs of the students in real time, creating authentic learning experiences, and assisting the students through any difficulties they may encounter. Through engaging with dialogic teaching, it empowers the teacher to acquire a range of interactive skills, strategies and moves, then applying these using dialogic principles to the differing classroom context in which they are working. that I will use to measure student achievement and engagement during my actual research will be teacher observation notes, records of learning conversations obtained during interactive games and class discussions, and collecting student work samples. Observation will involve monitoring whole class discussions and participation in interactive activities, and covert and overt observation of students working in pair groups. I will be observing small groups utilising Burton and Bartlett's small group scan. This will require scanning the various groups at predetermined intervals. I will observe the students completing the activities and designate numbers to correlate to the learning behaviours that are exhibited. Any other relevant learning behaviour that is observed can be briefly recorded in the observation table. These observations will be used in order to gauge the engagement levels of the students in the activities and as a guide to their understanding of the content to inform future learning activities. The second method of collecting data for my actual research will be collecting records of learning conversations. Spoken language remains in education as the primary means through which instruction is delivered and as a way for the students to demonstrate what has been learned. During my action research, there will be whole class discussions and interactive games that will require active student participation. Using a mobile device, I will record the learning interactions in order to ascertain the role I play in leading the discussion, the interactions that occurred, and the questioning techniques that I used, and which students' voices could be heard and which could not. Recording this information can improve my understanding of the power dynamics at play, what questioning techniques are effective, and the language the students use. My goal will be to utilise this data to endeavour to establish a student-centred classroom where all students have an important voice and have the positive feeling that what they contribute is meaningful and relevant. The third method for collecting data will be the collecting of student work samples. During the third learning experience, students will complete 3 different activities. 2 of those activities will be able to be collected in order to ascertain the level of engagement and achievement shown by the students. Each student will have 2 samples of work that can be collected and analysed. The first step in analysing student data will be to group together all pieces of data collected and begin a system of interpreting the entire database, looking for relevant pieces of data, and reminding myself of the research question of increasing student motivation and engagement. The data will be analysed in terms of student engagement and student achievement. Student achievement will be assessed through the syllabus outcomes, and this can be evaluated through the student work samples that are collected. Records of learning conversations can also be used to gauge student achievement and can assess learning outcomes. Student engagement will be evaluated through the MEE framework. High effective engagement will be analysed through the records of learning conversations and interactive games. These activities used in the learning experiences are designed to be enjoyed by the students and will be examined in order to see if the learning experience was deeply valued. The data will be analysed in regards to the quality of the participation of students and how this corresponds to the levels of engagement. High operative engagement will be studied during covert and overt observations of students during group work to determine whether the students are actively participating during the learning activity, and will be studied to determine whether they are enabling them to become competent and empowered learners working effectively in their group activities. High cognitive engagement, including high order thinking and showing deep understanding, will be interpreted through student learning conversations and student work samples. These will be analysed to determine if students are engaged in higher order thinking and displaying signs of deep knowledge and a deep understanding of subject content. For my future practice, engaging in this action research will have a profoundly positive impact on my teaching and becoming a research-informed practitioner. Instead of adopting the view of teachers being the object of research, it will instill the idea that as a teacher, engaging in research of my own pedagogy is an ongoing part of professional development. There is a correlation between productive pedagogies developed by teachers having a positive impact on student learning outcomes. This will have a greater effect when combined with the teacher's knowledge of the specialties of their school and their knowledge of their students' learning to inform teacher research. The primary way that teachers and students interact with each other is through talk. Talk is a necessity not only for learning, but for the development of the human brain. Dialogic pedagogy is based on Vygotsky's work, which placed great emphasis on the importance of the nature and quality of classroom talk and its impact on improved educational achievements and participation rates. Of all the tools for educational intervention in the development of children, talk is powerful in its implications. Speech develops higher mental processes that are necessary for learning that takes place in school. Implementing this action research will allow me to meet the ACSL teacher standards at the graduate level of 1.2, know students and how they learn, standard 3.5, using effective classroom communication, and standard 3.6, evaluate and improve teaching programs.